Hold on a second. I still can't hear you. Uno secundo. Let me check it myself. Now I can hear. Okay, yeah. I'll give you the really speed run version of what I said for like the past couple minutes while I was sharing that we were live. Um, I thought it would be hilarious if last when I uploaded the last UPZs to Twitter to YouTube, that I used the screen that said porn challenge, and it literally was one of those things that flashed by like a second. So it was actually kind of hard for me to capture it, but I captured it and then wrapped the thumbnail around that. And I'm like, ha ha ha! Manuel's clever and he's funny and he made a porn joke. And then it got flagged by YouTube and that video was demonetized. And
How'd you do?
I can no longer like rate my own videos by rating, like by age rating. So yeah, I was like,
Wait,
Anyways.
but then it's so weird when they do that because they like expect you to do so. So like if you can't, then what? They're gonna be like, oh,
Honestly,
hey.
yeah. Honestly, I don't know it's like the honor system, but like weird. And I'm like, I can only assume that they only saw the thumbnail because it's like I'm sure there's a way to like auto read what's on the picture, and it's very clear font. So they're probably like, oh, this dude said porn, you know. And to be fair, I will give him this. I didn't notice that obviously we're not supposed to talk about shit in the first 30 seconds, but it also said in the thumbnail, and I just didn't notice that. Which I guess makes sense. You can't just say like "fuck you" in the thumbnail and expect that that's fine.
Fuck you.
And I did read more accurately like the rules that go into rating things in profanity, and I think we're only allowed a certain number of fucks. kind of like an R rating.
It's that
or
counter
something.
from the South Park where you
Yeah.
like see the little beep when they're saying shit, and it's kind of like you can only say it so many times because it will actually release a curse into the world or something like that.
Yeah, so I just find that amusing. All the things you learn when you screw up on YouTube. Hey everyone, this is Ultra Podcast Z. This is episode 155, and Halloween's over, but I have a spooky
No.
gingerbread behind me. His name is the Ginger Dead Man from a really terrible, terrible movie. But
The
it's
crap out
terrible
of
in a
me when
good
I
way.
first got into the thing, so I do want to point that out. Tripped me up.
Well, if you
So
ever watched
bad.
if you ever watched the movie, it's terrible. It's a puppet. It's like I think there are parts where it might be an animatronic, but it's like a puppet. It's like it's like a very like what you call a latexy hand puppet. You could tell because it's like, oh look, look how creepy this is, and that kind of thing. But I'm Manuel, and I'm a puppet. Oh God,
Hi, I'm Photaku, and I'm a weeb.
you're a
I
weeb.
hope that there wasn't anything that would give it away, or I know, shocker.
Photaku. Yeah, typically it's hilarious because I mentioned this in passing on actually I don't think I mentioned I did mention it live last week actually. Typically we take this week off, but there's a lot of news to cover, and also I do think we're going to take a bit of a not a bit of a longer break, but definitely longer than last year over the holidays because ALA comes right after New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess we'll anticipate that by doing a few more episodes.
Yes.
Not a hiatus. But we always take a week off, usually after Halloween. And not only that, but typically all the streams take a week off, but none of the others are taking it off. Like we're still gaming and we're still doing Drink Talk Roll. Technically, Drink Talk Learn's taking a week off, but it would have did it anyway. So yeah. Anyways, how was your Halloween, Josh? What did you do for Halloween when I open up my my Twitch over here?
I went to 2 parties. I took the Squid Game outfit to that. It was fun. I also went to the theater and cosplayed there both for Bakugo and the new My Hero Academia movie. And I saw Last Night in Soho. That movie was it was an Edgar Wright horror movie. I was like, I wonder how you're gonna do an Edgar Wright horror movie. It's just kind of like
Last night in Soho.
yes, so no, it was actually pretty dope. It's a psychological claustrophobia type of horror. There was like probably only one jump scare, but it was such a well-timed jump scare. It's kind of like it was really cool. And it was also really British.
Okay. You go look up the poster. I'll probably have it in the corner if you're watching on YouTube. But go look up
Yes.
the poster, and it feels like that meme. Have you ever seen that meme where it's all like, "I watched this trilogy and I still don't understand what's going on," and it's Aladdin. It's like the Phoenix movie, like the X-Men one, and then it's
Mhm.
like the Last Jedi. Because this poster looks just like that. It's like the half red, half
Yeah,
blue.
it's a slight thing with the
Yeah,
girl
I
from
don't.
the Queen's Gambit and
Why,
the girl
why do they
from
do this? Is this the new marketing for movies everywhere? Like the red and blue thing? Like
well, it's a stylistic choice, and
or
also
yeah.
everyone
Orange.
likes that kind of like it looks like red and blue, but it's kind of like just so saturated. It's like that pink and blue, light
Yeah,
blue thing.
it's like I don't know. Like I feel like if we ever like rebrand all of our logos, or I should make the thumbnail like that. The thumbnail's like it's like I'll just you get like a fucking filter over half and then half. Oh, there was another fuck. But yeah, this one stars Anna Taylor Joy. I
Joy,
finally know her
yeah,
name. She's the one who from the like you said, you already said the Queen's Gambit, and then she's
yeah.
also Princess Peach in in the new Mario thingy.
Wait, for real? Oh,
Yes.
great. Now I have to like change my stance about being like, okay, I really I'm against Chris Pratt suddenly taking up the entire like voice acting market, but
Dude,
like,
yes.
I want to say that if she's in it, I'm just kind of like, I completely stand her 100%. So like before we get all up on the change the entire cast for real voice actors, could we just keep her? I believe the anime community already wants her anyway with her fucking uwu eye face and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's something about her eyes that's like, and I don't mean this in a. I've actually said this before. I don't mean this in a bad way, but she has like this. What's that word when things look like? What's that word when things look fake but they're real? What's that?
Uncanny Valley.
There you go. She has this very uncanny valley thing about her eyes.
Gingerbread man in the background.
So yeah, it throws me for a loop whenever I see her and like see her period. Like I see a picture of her, see her like, and then when I see her moving, it sounds so weird.
I'm gonna be like, we're gonna do this. I want someone to take this thing and be like, I went up to Kree and I told him to show me the difference between this gingerbread man and Taylor Joy.
Oh, no, okay. I'm pretty sure. Why did I get so dark suddenly? Hold on. Sorry, I made it darker. Like, I put it to black, and the suddenly I got really dark. She does have a very alluring look. Yeah, she does. So my Halloween was interesting. I didn't do much. Weston and everyone else I know pretty much all went to this party in Arcadia. I guess that's like post party docs thing, tell them exactly where it was. But it was like this nerd thing in Arcadia, and like it's way too far I figured for me, so I'm like I'm not gonna do it, especially if I intend to drink. So I stayed home and just drank, watched some horror movies. It was its own thing. It was fun. To be honest, I don't do much. The one thing I wanted to do, which I mentioned before, was go to Carnival in WeHo, and it's not happening this year. So fuck. But yeah,
I'm sorry.
we watched like the Friday 13th Part 3 and 4. 3 is the good one, the one where we get this mask, and then we watched Children of the Corn and some other shit.
Say that again.
Part 3 is the one where he gets his
No,
mask.
Did you say Halloween or did I hear wrong?
Friday the
Friday
13th.
the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Okay, that's why I heard wrong. I was like,
No,
wait,
but he also on Saturday talked about how Halloween 3 is the best Halloween.
It is. No, all the Part 3s are the best in the 3 big franchises. It's Dream Warriors, which is Part 3, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, that one is legit fire, though. That one is absolute fire.
And then there's Part 3 of Friday 13th, and there's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which I'm not going to lie, that's the controversial one to say, because that was like still 50-50 on whether that's the best one or not. I mean, not the best one, whether that's not terrible or not. So,
yeah. Oh,
but I still
really
stand
quick,
by all of them.
Yeah, really quick on the comment section, we had Evil Asian saying that unfortunately her Halloween sucked, and also that she does not stand the Taylor Joy, and she says that Taylor Joy has a really great radio face.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I wanted to clarify that I don't mean any of my comments negatively, but I do have a lot of friends who pretty much said what Evil Asian just said about the radio face, because they usually say it nicely, but they're like, yeah, and I'm like, first of all, everyone's beautiful. I'm not gonna judge that, but second of all, it's like I don't think it's. Here we are analyzing Anthony Joy's face. It's just something she feels like she walked out of the Battle Angel Alita movie, the live action one.
Yeah,
it's just what is this? What is this person? Like I said, I didn't finish my thought earlier. I kind of did, but I just kind of trailed off. But like whenever I see pictures of her, I feel like they're edited. And then when I see
They
her
probably
move,
are.
yeah, they probably are to start with. But then when I see her move, like if I see, by the way, I've never really seen anything she's in. I saw a part of a Queen's Gambit episode because my roommate was watching it.
Yeah.
But whenever I see her move, like if she's like at a red carpet thingy or if there's like a clip of her, I'm like, oh, she's real. Like I snorted. That's how crazy this was. I'm like, she's real, and she's moving, and like it's like, yeah.
You know,
Ooh.
I saw the
Squid Game.
really quick, the none of my orders from DoorDash came through. Actually, that was the night,
Oh,
and it was like,
okay.
no, it was terrible. Oh my gosh.
Before we move on to the news, I want to tell a really good Halloween story that happened. Semi similar to DoorDash, actually Uber. Very famously, there's a couple conventions that always happen on Halloween, and one of them that's sort of happens on Halloween. It didn't happen this year because I think it almost got canceled. They just only did it at the last minute. Is not Kamikaze. What's it called these days? LA Comic Con, which is the Los Angeles comic convention that used to be Stan Lee branded as Stan Lee's Kamikaze, but and I remember there was one year where we were hanging out in Little Tokyo, going back and forth like our hotel to Little Tokyo. And by the way, it's downtown Little Tokyo. It got Skid Row between them, which was a lovely drive. But anyways,
it's a little Pico, if you know what we mean.
We caught an Uber from Little Tokyo to go back to our hotel. We were staying at the JW Marriott. And first of all, when you were using Uber during Halloween, I hope they still do this. All the cars are ghosts. Like just like going on the map, it kind of looks like the old school NES Ghostbusters game for a bit, but like, so the car showed up, we get in, and they have candy, which is actually kind of normal. I doubt they do this anymore because it's COVID, but back then it was actually really normal all the entire month. I mean, it's normal on any Uber, but like especially because of Halloween, it's like, oh, there's candy, get some candy. And then the driver's like, by the way, you guys over 21? We're like, yeah. She's like, well, here, I got some adult treats for you guys. And it was another bag, but this bag was full of shots. She's like, take what you want, and we just took so many shots, and we drank some in the. I don't know if we were supposed to drink them in the car. I don't think she was really saying to do that, but we did it anyway. And then we drank some. We took a bunch, and we got like pretty wasted that night. It was great. That was Halloween 2016, or was it 15? Doesn't matter. But that was my good Halloween story that I didn't go to WeHo that year because we booked the hotel at LA Comic Con. Oh, by the way, the Firewings SF is the worst branch of Is Firewings a wing place? But
it's
yeah,
a wings place.
DoorDash, I can imagine that being. That's annoying when it doesn't happen on Halloween, but I can imagine on Halloween just like trying to get a DoorDash order when like, yeah. Anyways, what do we got on the docket tonight, JD? I asked you like
we were catching up on all the news we missed.
Oh, well, some cons happened this weekend. There was AWA. Rest in peace, Peachy Parade. By the way, they disbanded. They're an idol group that we've had on a bunch in various forms on those streams. Yeah. I have some links so you can follow them all separately, but they're all disbanded. Hopefully we can get someone on from there to talk about like Peachy Parade. Well, it depends on what version you talk about, because if we're talking about like the original Peachy Parade, they've been around for like 8 years, maybe. I think even longer than A to J. So yeah, it's kind of sad to see them go. But yeah, Anime Week in Atlanta. That's in Atlanta. That happened.
Yeah, my friend went to that.
Well, a lot of people went to that. Melancholia was there, and because they skipped their thing, but they're supposed to be on again, so we'll see about that. But yeah, there's a lot of idol things there. Miyavi was there. Acme was there. They're a visual K band. Everyone knows Miyavi, but they're also J-Rock sort of visual K. So there's a lot of big guests there. So I don't know, man. I'm still a little crazy about things. But what's funny is I want to tie that in because when we had Sylvia on, I think it was on a Christmas episode around this time, like 3 years ago. She introduced me to Sweet Baby Ray's for the very first time. Do you know what Sweet Baby Ray's is, Photaku?
I'm not familiar with Sweet Baby Ray's.
It's a barbecue sauce. It's a barbecue sauce.
Wait, really?
Yes, it comes in a bottle. Like, what comes in a bottle? Of course, it comes in a bottle. It looks like a salad dressing bottle. Because for some reason in my head, I always picture barbecue bottles looking not the way the Sweet Baby Ray's one does. But it comes like in a salad dressing looking bottle. But there's a white label with like blue. I think it's blue. Font on it. It's like Sweet Baby Ray's. Very famously, Mark Zuckerberg did a video where he said that Facebook is changing its name, and we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But behind him, he had like some shelves that it was clearly like a set. I'm sure this isn't this dude's house. I mean, if it was, it's even worse. But on one of the shelves with like random books, I'm sure like aren't even real, there was a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's. And
Yeah.
it was the most random thing ever. And it was like all the memes were like, is this Mark thinking is this what humans do? Humans have barbecue.
Just put your salad dressing right next to your books, like just totally normal.
It is. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Part of me feels like that's just like stupid viral marketing. And it's kind
Yeah,
of annoying that it's working because like everyone's talking about it, people doing articles about it, and I think Sweet Baby Ray. Like, I have friends who I didn't even know knew about. I mean, everyone knows about it at least to some degree. That even know about like the meta thing. Are posting pictures of like, oh, I went to Walmart. Look what I saw, and it was like a big display of Sweet Baby Ray's. And
yeah.
I'm like, did Sweet Baby Ray's pay for this, or was that even? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about the whole meta thing, JD? Since you're somewhat in the field of like, well, you don't really do that kind of programming, but you're like in the field, this VR shit related.
Yeah, I'm not the one, especially at A to J, to be talking about this, but it's a very interesting change. It's probably to help deflect off their like other controversies previously, and obviously their goal of making like a Ready Player One style metaverse kind of thing. And we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. That's one part of VR I'm a bit skeptical about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The funny thing is like, if they were just changing their name to Dodge whatever, I can get that. But the whole idea of creating the metaverse, is that ever gonna catch on? And I say this as someone who kind of like likes the idea personally, but let's be real. Um, and I'm not even talking about just like your grandma that has a Facebook account. I mean like the average person. Do you think they care about that? It's like I don't think anyone cares about this unless you're like already like a weeb or like some sort of video game like nut or something.
Well, we have the what's it called? I'm like forgetting right now. We got the Matrix coming back, so
Oh
if we're
yeah.
talking about anything where you're gonna have the perfect time to get a bunch of people, interested in plugging in and stuff like that, you have the Matrix. Granted, though, that was very non-consensual, so technically it would be only meta if it were meta that you're in the Matrix, only to get into another Matrix. But like, yeah, I think it's all just gonna like come together in a very stupid like level of like, what's it called? Marketing frenzy. Like,
This is all too meta for me. Yeah. For the record though, like I, I love that the Wachowskis are taking back the Matrix franchise from all the kind of nonsense it's been turned into in some certain spheres. But I don't like the Matrix movies. The first one was good for like what it was, but I was not a fan of any. Honestly, the Animatrix was the only one I think that was really really good. Fun fact: I told a really brief story about how I forgot where it was. I stole an Animatrix mouse pad, and by the way, this dates everything. I stole an Animatrix mouse pad from a Circuit City one time. So yeah, because I just loved it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna steal this, and I stole it, because I was a fucking delinquent as a kid. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the Matrix, and like, and if you're a fan of tabletop RPGs or even video games, because they have made some video game adaptations, I've always thought like, did they know about Shadowrun? Because there's parts of like the entire Matrix part that just feels like it's ripped directly from literally called the Matrix in Shadowrun. Um, the jacking in and everything. So I'm just like, what the hell? Anyways,
I don't think Shadowrun invented those concepts either.
that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't know. Like none of everything seems derivative of everything else. But then we're all in the meta. We're all meta. Like Berenstain Bears, Berenstain Bears. Like what's gonna happen? Like, did you really think this isn't a simulation? Get out of here, you weep.
I think that's the Mandela effect, though.
I mean, but the
So
whole idea is the simulation's fucking up or whatever, or alternate universes are. Well, I don't know.
Glitch in
This
the
works
Matrix.
somehow. Yeah. See the Matrix. Anyways. But yeah, I'm whatever on it. I find it funny, and I've mentioned this before in the past. And it's funny because about 2-3 weeks ago, I didn't mean to talk this long about it. About 2-3 weeks ago, John Oliver did a thing on Facebook. Or was it on Facebook? It doesn't matter. And the whole, I think it was on Facebook. Something about like fake news or the way you get news or whatever. And the whole point was is that Facebook weirdly to this day, including in this meta bullshit, focuses only on like their American audience, which is nothing but like boomers, but yet
So
most of their users are like in Southeast Asia, and it's like the average population there. I just find that like maybe they should TLDR, they should cater more to the Southeast Asian market. That's all I'm saying. That was a long-winded way to say that. Anyways, it's secretly called the Mandalorian effect. By the way, we don't have this in our thing, but
Mandalorian.
the Boba Fett thing has some pictures or something, doesn't it?
as of trailer out for the Book of Boba
trailer.
Fett.
There you go. That's a terrible name. Anyways, by the way, I love the Mandalorian, but when I watched season 2 of the Mandalorian, that just felt like Star Wars the pilot. As in like the pilot, like every episode felt like it was a pilot for its own spin-off, and it was just so annoying to watch it. Am I the only one who felt that way? Like
No,
when Boba Fett.
I don't think you're the only one who felt that way. I didn't entirely feel that way. Some of it just felt like, oh yeah, he's in a greater universe, just playing a bit part in the overall thing, which is kind of Star Wars at its core, isn't it? It's just young farm boy gets caught up in something that he's way over his head in and meets all these cool people. It's just now we know who these cool people are.
I don't know. There's a scene where he meets Ahsoka, and then Ahsoka's all. I could buy that, and then if Ahsoka just left, but then Ahsoka like gets that one villain guy is like, "Where's Thrawn?" And I'm like, "Oh God."
Wait, I thought
She's
that
getting-
was the
No,
other Mandalorian.
It was in the second season, right? Yeah.
No, yeah, it was the second season. I just thought it was the other Mandalorian, not Ahsoka.
Was it not Ahsoka? No, it was Ahsoka because
Okay.
it was Ahsoka, and then and obviously I'm like, oh God, she's gonna get a spin-off where she's hunting down Grand Admiral Thrawn. And sure enough, that's basically what they announced. And then when Boba Fett showed up and we had like literally like 30 minutes of him just shooting stormtroopers, I was like, oh my God. Like, clearly he's gonna get his own show, fine. But I did not want to sit there while it was just such a. I'm like, there should have been some decisions on editing here. But anyways, like this show, let's move on. Do you still play Animal Crossing? Do you play Animal Crossing at all, Photaku?
I played it a little bit, and then I kind of like dropped it just because like there was always so much to collect, and I was getting on other games like Persona 5 since I hadn't gotten around to it. So like I had not played the update, but for real, like I've just seen nothing but news, both cosplay wise and everything about the update that's been coming for people that are like, yes, I gotten
Yes.
back on the Animal Crossing thing, but like I haven't yet. I just played I think until about roughly August or so of the prior year, and then I just hadn't picked it up, so I'm just kind of like hoping that my villagers are like, it's been over a year, what the hell?
No, I not even like recently, but like back in the day when I went to go visit my town in New Leaf after leaving it for like 2 years.
Mhm.
By the way, I've left them for another year and a half or so now. But when I left them for like 2 years, they're like, it's been so long. And in those
Mhm.
games, they would just move away. In this game, I don't think they will move away. They'll just hate you. But but like, so yeah, a lot of people are getting back into it. By the way, the update's not out yet, so you still have time if you want to get your town in order. The update comes out Friday, and there's a giant free one that has a ton of bullshit, and then there's a paid one, or you can get the new Switch Online thingy, and that one has like this whole mini thingy where you go to these islands and you help the villagers like create their perfect home.
Yeah, it's basically Happy Home Designer 2.
Yeah, Happy Home Designer Part 2. But like in the free DLC, all of these new characters or new villagers, I should say more accurately, who are being added, and one of them is a Sun Wukong monkey. Like it's literally just a monkey that's dressed up like Sun Wukong, which by the way upsets me.
Really?
Yeah, it upsets me not that there's a monkey dressed like Sun Wukong, but for those who've never played Animal Crossing in your life, and I think some people are forgetting about this, especially for the Wukong monkey. I didn't. Villagers never wear the same outfit really, so like even if you don't give them anything to change into, like another villager will or some bullshit. So unless you keep going to Isabel to keep changing their clothes back to default, he's only going to be the Sun Wukong monkey for like a week or two until he just becomes that monkey that I put in my little Chinatown up there. Which, by the way, I'm going to do that. I'm gonna make a little Chinatown in my village. There's two like panda. Well, actually, there's three, but I only like two of them. There's two panda-ish characters. I'm gonna put them up there with with the Sun Wukong monkey. Is that mildly racist? I don't know.
Yes.
But I'm gonna put them all together in a little like their own little. Actually, that
That's
sounds
called
racist.
segregation, Manuel.
Yeah, that's the racist word. Not that I have the 3 of them, but that I'm gonna put them in their own separate area. Okay,
Yeah, that's
maybe.
segregation.
Okay, I'll just put them on a street then. There, actually, it's still segregation. Okay, I'll figure this out. A non-racist way to do this, but it'll be great. I'll just make my whole fucking town Chinese. There. Now
Yeah.
the other ones look weird.
Evil Asians confirmed it. That is racist.
Coming from an actually, yeah, okay. I won't put them separately then. Never mind. I take that back. I keep snorting today. It's the Angie rubbing off on me. Anyways, but no, I'm excited for it. I've been playing a lot to get my town ready. I actually been time traveling forward just to like make sure I had time because I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to do it during Halloween, and I time traveled all the way to like Halloween in like the beginning of October, and then I realized that the event doesn't unlock until Halloween Day for real happens. So I just had to wait there until recently. But now I'm back to Friday, which by the way, it launches on Friday. So you have 3
Nice.
days, Josh, to
3 days.
just three more days to Halloween. That's anyways. Have you ever been to Japan?
No, I haven't. I've had friends who have gone to Japan, and I missed out. Like I want to say, like twice, unfortunately, at the very least once. Are you gonna talk about that cafe that's closing? Because I'm
Yes.
kinda bummed AF about the Gundam cafe closing. Just brilliant. Oh my gosh.
They're all closing, by the way, in case you were like, because I think there's to be fair, I didn't know there was 3 of them. To be fair, there's 4 of them, and only 3 of them are closing. I only knew about the one in Akihabara. I knew about the one in Odaiba, but apparently there's another one that like it also has a Gundam, and then there's the satellite one which is staying open, but that one I think is in a mall, and it's just a cafe. Like I know they're all just
Gonna be
cafes,
like
but
the actual like whole store front,
yeah,
cool ass looking thing.
it's just like I think it's part of a department store. It's the way I have it written weird in the notes, but I think it's part of a department store. So I don't think it's like in a. It's not a real cafe, which I think is why it's still staying open. They probably have a lease there or something.
If
But
I could just quickly like digress for like a brief moment, just because you said that, I went to this place in town that was saying, "Oh, we have another boba place." And I was like, "Oh, I want to try this other boba place." And I'm like looking around this side of town where I'm just like, "There's just a big ass clothes store. Where the hell is this damn boba place? It says it's here." And then I was like, "Oh, I have to go inside." And then I was just tripping out because like it's not really like a well-known clothes or department store or anything like that. It's just a big clothes store, and I go inside, and then there's this separate section for like a little boba tea thing, and I was like, "Huh, that's weird. We're not near a
Strange
mall.
combination.
We're not near any real like notable thing. This is like a totally local place." And then just inside, just yeah.
I want boba. I haven't had boba in about 2 years. I haven't had it since pre-pandemic. Oh, no, I'm lying. I'm actually totally lying. I have had it like random boba shop boba shop donut, boba donut shop boba. Sorry, I've had random donut shop boba like 2 or 3 times, but I have not had it from an actual boba place in like over 2 years, like way before the pandemic. I hear fucking Costco. Is it Costco or Sam's? I forget which one, but one of them's getting boba. I'm like, what the fuck? Before I jump back to the Gundam Cafe, I was gonna mention there was one time when I was in Texas and I was going to this Texas con that we don't name anymore, but I was going there before I knew that they were trash, and so I'm in Houston, and like Tiffany, an A to J translator person, is supposed to be there with me, but she got funny thing, when she went to go catch her flight, she had forgot her ID, so she went back home to get it, and when she went back, she'd missed the plane, so she ended up like coming like days later. She almost didn't come, but so I'm there by myself, and I'm like, I want some barbecue, or I'm in Texas, and I look up this place, and it's like highly rated, and I get an Uber, and I go there, and the Uber dead ass drops me off like on this tiny, like it's not like unlit. It's not unlit, but it's like dark. I don't see any businesses in this little street. And it just leaves me like, yeah, your place is somewhere here. Like maybe just walk around this block and you'll find it. I'm like, okay. So I walk around this block. It's not like a dangerous block. It's not like I'm gonna get like stabbed. And it's a nice part of Houston. But still, I'm walking around this block. I'm like, where the fuck is this barbecue place? And eventually, no joke, I call another Uber, and just so I can ask the Uber driver if they know where the place is. By the way, this is how unphone I am. I didn't think to call the restaurant at all. So yeah, who uses their phone to call people? But it turned out that that if I walked into this empty ass looking building and then went to the basement, there was a whole hipster area where there was all these um uh there's like 8 restaurants down there, but like kind of like mom and pop like ones, and that was the barbecue was one of them. And there were people in there. I'm like, where did these people come in from? I think there's a parking structure maybe, but I'm like, I didn't see them enter the building. But anyways,
Yeah, I don't blame you for that one, Manuel. That sounds like the setup to a horror movie.
yeah, and especially when you walk into like the building was lit, but it looked like it might have been an apartment building. It wasn't brightly lit. Like there was no sign that said like food co-op or some bullshit like that. It looked like an apartment building. I walked in, and then there's like the staircase going down, and that still looked creepy. And then when you get down there, it's brightly lit. There's like fake plants everywhere, and it looks like a hipster's paradise. But then there's people there. But anyway. That was my Texas similar story about like where the fuck is this restaurant? I almost ate at a bar because I was just like, I don't even care anymore. I'm just hungry. But
This
the barbecue was good.
This is totally relevant, though. This is absolutely relevant. Just because I was saying we're not even talking about animes, so like, no, but
I mean, it's still
anime people I feel are like kind of hipster to like a degree. It's like
definitely.
It happens, and no, that's pretty cool. But I do get upset when you just can't find places right away, and that's just like, I hope that when it comes to this place, I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna be like, oh no, it's right there. It's still gonna be there in the one mall department thing, but still, it's just kind of like, damn.
I love how you're like, yeah, this has everything with anime, and Evil Asian's like, this has nothing to do with anime.
No one talks about anime in podcasts that have anime related things and stuff anymore. That's like not even a thing to do.
But actually, it's funny because the Gundam Cafe, I have been to it. To be fair, I've never been to it to like eat there.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been there because it's if you ever get off of I guess you'll never know this now, but if you ever get off of the train station, one of the in Akihabara, one of the exits, and it's funny because it's the exit you don't want to get off on, like you walked out the wrong one because there's nothing there but these cafes, and you walk outside.
Wait, why is that? If there's nothing but cafes, why would I not want to go?
Because literally all that's, unless you're a weeb, that's the only reason you would walk out that exit. Because on one side is the Gundam Cafe, and then next to it is the AKB48 Cafe, which by the way also closed down, but about 2-3 years ago.
Oh damn.
And those two were there. I went to the AKB48 Cafe a lot. That one has a weird system where, and I think the Gundam one has a similar one, by the way. So I'm going to explain this. But basically, you go to the cafe, and by the way, there's no idols working there as far as I know. Just they're employees. It's not like you're gonna walk in and AKB48 girl's gonna serve you your tea. But there's a system that all the themed cafes have where like you order a drink and they'll give you a coaster, and the coaster is collectible because like, it's like it'll have a Gundam, or if you're in like the Sonic Cafe, it'll have Sonic. I don't think there's a Sonic Cafe, but if you're in a Final Fantasy Cafe, it'll have a Chocobo or some shit,
Nice.
And if you're the AKB48 one, it'll have one of the girls, and they sell like coaster, like like the sleeves you have for like cards or whatever, but they're for coasters, and like I remember, especially you would see it. I think I saw it more in the Gundam Cafe when I would go to the store, because there's some coasters you can only buy in the store, and then some you can only get in the restaurant. And there'll be people with their like heaping binders of these fucking coasters, and I'm like, what a weird collection. I'm not knocking it if that's what you want to collect. More power to you, but like coasters.
Hey, at least you could actually use those for something other than decoration.
That is true. But then again, are you really gonna? Because they if they're putting them in these sleeves, which I assume which all ending up on a shelf somewhere. But then again, knowing someone like me, maybe even some fans would do this. Like, if say it was a Gundam you didn't like, or an idol you didn't like, or like, a fucking what's a cactuar, you don't like cactuars. I'm trying to think of all the ones I know definitely do the coaster thingy. It's like these are the ones that we actually use for like, when guests come over.
No, it's like collecting comic books. You get one to actually use and then one that goes into the collection.
You go there purposely to get 3. That sounds like such a good marketing ploy if they came up with it, but that's a total total fan thing. Oh my gosh.
One for the collection, one to like, one for you to use and one for everyone else to use.
Yeah.
I think you need more Asian friends that had nothing to do with anime. Oh, those are common as fuck for us. Oh, the more Asian friends. They're making fun of all the things that we were doing that we're hipsters. Fun fact, since we're before we leave this topic of food, I want to mention that it's always my pet peeve, and I mentioned this many a time, but just like I find this amusing to mention, like, hipsters and weebs and going out to eat or going to places with weebs. And it's funny because here I am, like, I want boba, I haven't had it in 2 years, but it's one of my huge pet peeves. And now I don't care because I haven't seen people in years, so I guess now I'll accept it. But it's always my pet peeve that whenever I go out with friends, and honestly, it could be at an anime convention, or we could. There have been times when, like, I've invited some of my anime friends to go see a musical with me, or to go see like a concert with me, or something like that. And it's like, oh, what do you want to eat? I don't know. Let's go to the Asian, that Asian. I mean, don't name a place. I'm not saying, like, like they'll say that Asian place. Well, let's go to that Asian place. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, I don't want to get ramen and sushi or something like that every fucking, like, outing. It's like, how about we go get that taco place? How about we get that Greek place? How about we fucking get a burger? How about we go to Denny's?
You see, you have come to the point of the cultural appropriation where such and such will just be so hooked on getting some Asian thing just because it's up in the hype. It's just kind of like, listen, it's okay. We do it every now and then, but sometimes I just want a burger or some really nice tacos, or
Yeah.
maybe I just want to go and get some Mediterranean, or Basque is also really good also, but like, it's just kind of like, wait, we do this every time. Like, I get that we could probably follow a ritual thing, but like, how about every time we go out, let's broaden our horizons also a little bit more.
It's
Or
been so
just
long since I had sushi.
No, well, it's been. I don't like sushi for starters. I mentioned this before, but it's been ages since I've had it too. Like, usually I'll eat it if I'm in a setting where, like, oh, we're getting sushi. Like, fuck it, I don't want to be that person. If I'm the only one against it, I'm not gonna be that person. By the way, Evil Asian says it annoys me when something I grew up with becomes new and trendy. That's
that
I'm
is
sure that
a hipster thing to say. What the hell?
no. I see what you mean. I see what she
Yeah.
means. Like, there's a certain level of cultural appropriation. Honestly, even like somebody, like, it's funny because I'm not a huge fan of all Mexican foods, but you see it in all the foods. It's like suddenly, like, I remember when I was a lot younger. I think it still is, but when I was younger, it was uber trendy. When, like, guacamole became really trendy, and it was like, oh my god, like, I got the best recipe to guacamole, and it's like, oh my god, go to that new taco place. At the taco place, it's like it, it's trendy shit. I can't stand it. And you see that a lot with Asian food as well. I think it's kind of dying down, but I'm sure you still see it. But like, like, I remember, like, there was a point when, like, fish sauce became popular, and I
Mhm.
was like, I'm like, that I've always thought as an acquired taste, and I can't stand fish sauce myself. I think it smells terrible. Um, but now it's like, it was a trendy thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is a thing to try. And then people were like, like, obviously I don't know this experience, but there's some Asian friends of mine who are all like, I used to grow up being made fun of because I would, like, bring friends over and my mom be making some, like, very fishy dish, and now this is the new hip thing to eat, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it pissed me off that people thought pho was the new ramen.
Actually,
Um,
Photaku, while I have you here and while I have Evil Asian here, can you help me settle an argument I was having with someone on another stream?
Cool.
Is
What?
pho the soup or just the broth? Like everything?
Oh,
Or like the
Actually,
noodles?
I am. That's totally gonna be an Evilation ballpark.
The whole
it's
thing.
the
Thank
whole
you.
thing.
Thank you. The noodles and the soup and everything in it.
Why
Thank
did
you.
somebody say otherwise? Is that
Yes,
what our stream
I was
doing?
arguing with somebody on another stream for like 15 minutes about this, and we try to keep telling them, no, it's everything.
It's funny because we had Danny on DTL. Well, very famously, Danny was on the very first DTL, and they got super wasted and then, like, cut their ass on a bottle because they fell on it. That whole stream's fun to watch. You go watch that. It's very.
How?
It's a long story, but it's a very funny episode because it's the very first DTL we ever did, and we all got really drunk, but because we didn't know limits, and it was the start of the pandemic still at this time. But what I was going to mention is that much later on they came back to DTL, and they did a whole partition on pho, and I should link that. Like, obviously I don't have it here, and I don't remember which one it was, but they're Vietnamese, so they're and I think they even mentioned, fun fact, I think they even mentioned how kind of annoyed they were about, like, the trendiness of it, like, it's getting, and some people, like, you know, I guess the cultural appropriation of it all. And I think that they mentioned this off stream, not really on it, but like when you see like the gentrification of foods, you also see like prices rise. And that's annoying. You know how annoying it is when I watch like some food blogger and they're like they go to like they go to like a very low income area of like inner city LA or wherever, it doesn't matter where, say LA for example, and they're like, "Oh my god, I had the best tacos ever at like, Jose's Taco Shack or whatever."
Mhm.
And can you believe these tacos only cost $1 each? And I'm like, first of all,
You're like
first
you have the meme. You have the meme where it's like, who's gonna tell him?
yeah, first of First of all, like the food's only typically expensive in these areas once people like you start talking about it, because then it's like everything raises and whatever. But it's cheap because that's what the people around here can afford, and that's what the food costs like match with the the needs in the economy. And I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, and then obviously they'll write about it, then like people will start flocking there. And I'm sure like for the dudes who own the taco shack, it's good for a while until like somebody starts raising the rent, and then they're on the street, and then fuck you, gentrification. But
Yes,
anyways.
absolutely. I was about to say that. I was just waiting to see if you would say the statement or not. But yeah,
Wait,
no,
you,
100%.
you, you did this? You did this for taco?
Yes, he
I
raised
did
the
Sorry, I'm
not.
prices
calling
on
it.
a taco place in a.
No, not that.
What
No,
happened?
I'm calling evil Asians. Like, what's annoying is that when I tell people my ethnicity, which I assume is Vietnamese, because you said pho. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming. But anyways, you said when I tell people my ethnicity, the first thing they say is I love pho, and it's like Photaku did that too. God damn it, Photaku, you're a
To be
monster.
fair, I probably only said that because I didn't know what pho was, but a friend of mine said, "You don't know what pho is, and you have a Vietnamese girlfriend." So, like that particular morning, I was with a friend in Irvine, and they said, "Let's go and eat pho," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And so then it was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." It wasn't really out of a statement of what could probably be attributed to, you know, well, I
I
don't
mean,
even want to say that it's blatant racism, but like it's
Active.
just simply like something where it just came out and it was like I actually really do enjoy this because I just recently had it. And let me see
I,
if there's
I,
more.
I swear we're gonna come back to news in a second, but
Yeah,
I do want to
please.
I do want to mention that I guess I've gotten a similar the Mexican version of that. It's not quite, but a lot of times when I'll tell someone I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Mexican, or like usually to other Mexicans, fun fact, I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm Mexican. They're like, how are you Mexican? You don't like salsa? And I'm like, that feels internally racist. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that's a bit gatekeeping on that.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, I get it more just because I am not dark in any way.
But yeah, I get very. I mean, usually it's like salsa. Let me think off the top of my head, but I get that a lot. It's actually funny. It's not even because I've been opening up myself to my culture. I've just been like eating more food, and I'm like, oh, now I like a lot of Mexican food. Like I used to hate tamales when I was younger, and I had them like recently. I'm like, why did I complain about this? But anyways,
I think it's just normally like what could occur
I
within that
don't like salsa.
situation is
I don't like any salsa, by the way. I don't like
and same
sauces.
here, not sour cream, not hot sauce and all
Yeah.
that. But I think it's just because people get so attached to like when somebody eats a particular thing, or if you don't do something, then they'll say something like, "Oh, you're so whitewashed," or this kind of deal. And it's just kind of like, well, I mean, no, everybody has this like variant taste, or let's say that you eat something for so long that you just don't enjoy it anymore, or maybe you're not like a fan. Like that's happened to me before with certain things. Like I don't go out to eat Mexican food often because I have Mexican food probably more than not, like just in general. So like if I go to some place that has Mexican food, then it better like be good. Like that's just essentially it. Otherwise, I'm like I don't really like going out to Mexican food restaurants and stuff like that.
That
Okay,
would
so
be good.
let's try and rein this back into
Yeah.
news we missed.
So there's a big news story going around. I'm not sure if you've seen about it for Taku. Like, there's few small things. I want to make sure we talk about this one though. Um,
Mhm.
are you familiar with the MaiOtaku website?
MaiOtaku, surprisingly, no, I'm not familiar with the MaiOtaku website. What's this about?
It's kind of good you're not then, and I'm going to tell you about it. We discussed this. So there's a website, and I don't really want to promote it, so don't go there. I'm going there right now so I can look at things, but don't go to this website. It's called
Do not go to this website.
MaiOtaku.com, and it's spelled
Mhm.
kind of like made, M-A-I, otaku, so it's like one word.
Mhm.
I'm like, don't go there, but this is how you spell it. But but anyways, it's run by a guy named Ryan Koff. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his name, but I don't care. He's a tarot person. If you're not a tarot person, your name is that his last name, then you tell me to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it. But Ryan Koff, and he pretty much runs the entire anime convention scene in the Midwest.
Okay.
Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, he hosts about a dozen conventions, like literally like a dozen or more, like anime Minnesota, anime Milwaukee, Con Alt Delete, which I think is in Detroit, and then like I think he even runs one called Anime Midwest, and so
Mhm.
on. And he is a very controversial person. I don't want to talk about this because this is mildly off topic and it's a huge thing in its own right. But there's a lot of accusations against him for like assault, those other bullshit. It's a lot of crazy shit. And
Mhm.
honestly, like it's not even just that. Like I know some people like guest handlers who have like issues with the way he treats guests and things like that. So there's like he's basically the John Lay, the anime Matsuri guy.
Okay.
He's the John Lay of the Midwest, but because he's not so like flamboyant, not flamboyant, but he's not so like active as John Lay, because John Lay puts himself out there. Because he's not like so actively out there, nobody talks about him. But he's huge. He's way bigger than John Lay because he has a ton more conventions. Well, he made this site called MaiOtaku. It's a dating
MaiOtaku.
site.
Mhm.
So you go there, you make your little you make your little profile, you tell everyone what your favorite anime is, and ideally you either find friends or you find a lover or some shit. I don't know, whatever.
Mhm.
But apparently, in an effort to like artificially boost the site's registration numbers,
Yes.
he took every email that was ever used to register an account on any of his conventions.
Wait. Continue. I think I have heard of
Yes,
this.
yes, he took
Continue.
every email
Insinuate.
that was used to create an account to register for his conventions and
Mhm.
made an account for them. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna stop the story right here real fast if I keep going and say that I'll be honest with you. I didn't think this was true. I was kind of like, because a lot of times, and especially because the post, I don't want to judge the person who wrote the post initially, but it was kind of like poorly written. And it didn't seem like like they had all their like eggs in a basket when it comes to evidence and everything like that. So I was
Mhm.
very skeptical, even though this guy is a piece of shit. I'm like, he's not this like surely it's not this crazy. Then I decided to do what the post said and to see if I had an account, and I did. And I had an account.
Whoa.
So, and I'm not gonna lie. So then I was still skeptical. I'm like, okay, maybe this site auto generates accounts if you just check for it. Like, because I use my A to J email. I'm
Mhm.
like, let me check something else. So I use my personal email, and it said you have no account. So no, it's real. This fucker just took. And by the way, in case you're wondering, I never went to one of his cons. I was inquiring. I signed up for press, and then we just never went because they didn't approve our interviews. But I got a press pass that I never used, so my email's in the system, and they made an account. Alavic_222 has a profile on this site. Um,
So for anybody that's gone to anything of these particular events, if they just
yeah,
put in their information and they made a fake account for them
yep,
on this MaiOtaku site.
yep. And I think that the whole idea, obviously, is to say we have 100,000. I'm sure it's probably not. Who knows? Maybe it is that many. But we have tens of thousands of active users. I'm pretty sure. I've never heard of the site before. I'm willing to bet this site probably only had hundreds of users if it was like ethically created or whatever. But yeah, he did this. And by the way, apparently people are looking into it. This violates a ton of privacy agreements. And he's all like, no, you agreed to this. And it's like and then people putting out like I work in like this kind of thing, and you have to agree to this. It's the specific things you have to agree to, and he didn't do that. And it gets worse. So the part, I mean, obviously we can go on whether that's illegal, which it is, but the bigger part is, okay, I did, I was there as press, right? So I didn't pay shit. But if you paid, get this, because the site isn't free. Like all dating sites, it's free, but there's like a pay to win version. You know what I mean? Uh,
Mhm.
send more video. Or I don't know what you get the money for, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like the way Tinder has it. So get more matches or whatever the fuck these things like promote. If you ever put your credit card info into the site to buy a badge, that info is on your
You have
MaiOtaku.
got to
I'm
be
not.
kidding me.
Not.
That is disgusting.
And that I
Holy
confirm, yeah,
crap.
that I confirmed from another A to J member who did it. Fun fact: the other person I was impressed with, they have they have like 5 accounts because they went under their own personal emails like in the past when they were younger, and they went as A to J, so they had an A to J one, but in one of their like what's the word, in one of the ones that they did personally, their credit card info is attached to their site. It's like, and I haven't heard if they're charging anything, which is it's all illegal, but that's like a whole new level. But apparently I think they might be, because this is still so new. Maybe no one's been charged yet, but people who have the credit card info, they're like listed as if they're like actively paying for the site. So yeah, and no one really knows if that's the case, because once again, like maybe they just haven't been charged yet because it's so new. But yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't this the wildest fucking thing?
That sounds like a lawsuit. That
It
is
is.
that is terrible. Holy crap. Like what was the goal ultimately for the site then, with having all this information curated
Well,
on it from
that's the weirdest thing. Like, I'm not sure what. By the way, I love Evil. She's like, "It's the site you went to when we broke up." Anyways,
what does MaiOtaku have to do with anything? I literally am surprised by all of this. I've never heard of
oh, I'm joking.
MaiOtaku or
Yeah,
like
I'm actually trying to figure out how old this site is, and it doesn't say. And the site's pretty well put together. The site is dated from this year, so it is new-ish. But hold on, I'm trying to go to what the current blog. I've been on here this whole time. See, the earliest blog entry started in September, so one can
okay.
only assume the site. By the way, are these blog entries deleted? Yeah, they're deleted.
Anime dating. Wait, hold up. This came out this
Oh,
year?
actually, no, there are older. Yeah, okay. The very first blog entry is from August 18th, and I can't see what it is because actually I can't see what it is. These are deleted, but if you highlight them, you can see the text. So, welcome to MaiOtaku. Okay, so in August 20th, they had 200 members. I'm trying to find the part where they where suddenly they had 100,000. This is so weird. But yeah, and supposedly, and I should say supposedly because I'm pretty sure if like obviously when there's credit card info involved and you start telling like the authorities things are involved, but apparently this is like raised to like there's like authorities involved, like like I don't want to say the cops first. I'm sure it's the cops, but like whoever the fuck takes care of credit card thingies, which I think is technically the FBI, by the way, because at that point it becomes state to state. But so yeah, I'm trying to see like, is there a new update? Oh my god, this site is broken. I can't read the site. Okay, never mind.
Let's just keep moving.
Let's just keep moving. But yeah, so if anyone out there has has ever attended one of these conventions, you might want to check if you have a fucking account on this site, because it's crazy as fuck that this happened.
It's for it's just any mid cons. Are there any cons from California
No,
that like
thank you for reminding me. That was the part that I didn't write in the notes. I just found out today. So Molly, Molly as in like A to J Molly, who's like always on DTL and was going to be on this podcast. Fun fact, but they had to work or something. But I kind of wish they would, so they could. I haven't talked to them specifically about what this meant, but I was when I mentioned, I was actually drunk when I did it, and I'm like, look, I do have an account, and look, it definitely isn't for everyone, because here's another one that has no account, and then Jasmine, our other, who by the way has been on the UPZ a ton too, she checked and she had a bunch of accounts, and then I'm like, Molly, you should check, because I think you've gone to these conventions like as an attendee, like prior to A to J and whatever, because she like lived in the area. So she checked and she did it, but get this, this is the tricky part. You know what her email told her?
what?
That she didn't have an account on MaiOtaku, but she did have an account. And by the way, the reason why you know which con you went to that signed you up for it is because when you want to change your password, it sends you to that convention site.
Yeah.
Like, When I went to change my password, it sent me to like to Con Delete to change it there, and then I had a MaiOtaku. Then I had the password, and then I could go to MaiOtaku and log in.
Mhm.
It sent her to the Anime California website. but
Wow.
I do want to
Wow.
I do want to clarify. There's technically two Anime Californias, and if you ask the first one, they're not related to the second. So the first Anime California, and we were actually trying to figure this out literally this morning before we went live with the show, and I forgot this, so I didn't put in the notes.
Yeah.
Apparently, the first Anime California, and if you ever went to this one, it was the one that they had in Anaheim. It
Mhm.
was in Anaheim for 2 years, and it went to Long Beach for one, and it was 2014 to 16.
Okay.
Apparently, that was run by Ryan Koff, and we
Wow.
didn't know because, like, by the way, he was already doing his bullshit by this point, but we didn't know, like, I guess community wise that he was like a bad person, and nobody. And then the con stopped, and then they started again with new people. Um, if the original Anime California site still exists, there's actually two Anime California sites: the one for the 2018-19 version, and the one for
Mhm.
the old one. If you go to the old one, there's a funny header that says we're not associated with a new con, call us Anime California. But that site was the site that I sent Molly to go change her password, and we're like, wait, so they he ran that con, and this is the news of news. And I guess like once again, this is before the Lays, this is before the Anime Matsuri,
Yeah.
this is before the Vic outing, all that shit that before the Me Too thing was what kind of kicked off all of this.
Yes.
Um so I guess like nobody was really looking into who was running these events. So I guess we didn't know that I went to it. I went to it both as an attendee and as A to J. The first
Mhm.
year in 2014, I went just as a fan or whatever, and then A to J we covered it in 2015 and 16. Tiffany, who I mentioned earlier, her and Angie were guests at 2016. They were performance guests. So it's just crazy when you think of all these connections. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I do want to clarify, maybe because the site's too old, that he didn't create my otaku things for them. Maybe because he specifically wants to be Midwest also, but he didn't create accounts for the California one. But
Thank goodness.
it does tell you, so you might encounter that and have fun if you ever put in your Anime California email. It's like, we don't have you for this, but here's Anime California. Yeah, Molly was asking me if Ryan Koff ran that one, and I tried to Google it, and it's complicated. You Google anime convention Ryan Koff, and you look at all of his drama.
Yeah.
And it's hard to sift through that because there's so much of it from 2019 when this all blew up. Um, last thing I'll mention, very famously, started the pandemic-ish time, he tried to do a campaign to clean up his name, and it was the epitome of the Streisand effect. He
Wow.
literally he literally made a video where he's all like, "Hey, I'm Ryan Koff. You might have heard terrible things about me, but I didn't do it." You know, I'm not making this up. You watch the video; I think it's still around, and I'm sure somebody has re-uploaded it because if he deleted it, it's like, "I didn't do it." What do you mean you want me to prove I didn't do it? I can't prove a negative, and like it just looks so weird. He's like, why would I make a video like this? Because I'm trying to put an end to these rumors. But it was just so weird. The tone of it was wrong, and he did it as a Facebook ad. He like made the video, and then he ran it as a Facebook ad. So like, and
Wow.
people were seeing it who didn't know. I don't know what he put for the keywords, but people were seeing it who didn't know what the Ryan Koff thing was. They're like, wait, bro, why is this random guy telling me he didn't commit sexual assault? It's like, what? You know?
Yeah, that's very sus just by
It
default,
is.
especially if it's a very
Yeah.
like weird video that I'm guessing sounds almost
I'll find.
like
Yeah.
tone deaf.
It really is. This guy's a piece of work. Just everyone just careful out there. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Have you
Holy
did you
hell.
ever go to Anime California, Josh? I mean, I called you Josh. Well, by the way, you are Josh, but I was calling JD Josh.
Yeah.
Even though that's not what the J stands for.
Yeah, that's not what the J stands for.
But I did mean you when I said Josh.
I haven't
No,
gone. There were times where I was going to go to Anime California, but I went to SAC Anime instead.
Oh yeah. I think I think both years they competed with the summer SAC Anime. So yeah.
I think I've
Or
told
all
you
3 years.
before. I've only been to like 3 conventions.
Oh, fun fact. We've told this story. We even told it on DTL recently because we're reminiscing how old we were, but we've told this story many times. But the story that me and Molly always tell, where we actually went to the room to take a nap, And then like I was fucking wasted, and she was just like staring at me, scared I was gonna throw up, and I was getting really annoyed, but she just would not stop staring at me, thinking I was gonna throw up because she's like scared to vomit. That was at Anime
Yeah.
California. That was at Anime California 2015. So like so just fun fact. So we were at a Ryan Kopp convention without realizing it, and that was the con where she was scared I was gonna vomit every. Anyway.
Okay. We
Anyway,
got a couple of
moving
minutes
on.
before we start wrapping up. So one more topic.
Oh shit! I didn't realize it was this late. Let's do some quick fire ones. What else is here? Do you have any news you're gonna mention, Josh, before I start reading some shit?
No, not anything too off the top. The only thing I
Oh,
have in terms of news is probably just like anything that's off Phil DeFranco and shit like that.
oh, wait, what about? No, not, apparently, that, I don't know why that reminded me about him because they're not really similar, but they were similar when they started. Apparently, fucking what's his name? What's his name? Drama Alert. The hell's that guy's name? I hate that guy. With the fucking beard. Fuck, what's his name? Keemstar. Apparently, he's
That
leaving
guy.
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Thank God, I hated that guy. He was a piece of shit. Also, John. Speaking around YouTubers real fast, JonTron came out as anti-vaxxer a couple weeks ago. That was fun.
No surprise. No
Yeah, I mean, like
surprise.
he said a lot of bullshit, and I was just like, so I'm once again, I'm not surprised like you are. I am upset that one of my favorite YouTubers is this dude named Peanut Butter Gamer, and I shouldn't be surprised by this because for those in the know, Peanut Butter Gamer and JonTron created a thing called Normal Boots way back together, so they're clearly friends for ages. But
Mhm.
in the anti-vax post, that and not the anti-vax post, but the one where he doubled down, he's like, "I'm not trying to say don't get vaccinated. I'm just trying to say like, don't have this whatever, something like that. Don't have a hive mindset or some bullshit." Peanut Butter Gamer
Mhm.
liked that post, and I was like,
I'm
the only reason,
sorry.
yeah, the only reason I saw that post at all because I don't follow JonTron, it's because Peanut Butter Gamer liked it, and I was like, you gotta be fucking like, no. I was so excited one time because when I he did a video about Animal Crossing, Peanut Butter Gamer did, and
Yeah.
I moved Mitzi to my town because Mitzi was his favorite villager, and I grew to like Mitzi on my own, but like I moved Mitzi to my town because of his video, and I tweeted about it, and then he liked my tweet and retweeted it, and I was like, Peanut Butter Gamer noticed me, and now he might be a anti. I hope not.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully, as dumb as it sounds, it was a reactionary like where
Yeah,
for
like maybe
some reason
I've
they
like
like
weird shit with like the people, not like that kind of weird shit, but there are times, especially like on Twitter, when I want to make my Twitter. Well, I'm sure he doesn't have this issue. When I want to make my Twitter look active, I'll start liking my friends' posts almost without seeing what they are. So for all I know, some dude's all like, God damn it, I hate the vaccines. I'm like, yeah, like, and like, I mean, I hope I didn't. I hope I never did that, but there's a possibility. But you mentioned it earlier, Chris Pratt, because he's voicing Garfield.
yes.
Do we need more Garfield movies? That's the real question.
I was surprised that we would be, but like I like how everyone on Twitter has just now been saying Chris Pratt is now voicing everything, including Matthew Mercer's Critical Role,
Yeah,
voicing Matthew Mercer, and I'm just like, okay? I like how we collectively are all just kind of hung up on how the actual argument of maybe you should actually just have Mario done by a voice actor because, or even just his original voice actor because it's just such an iconic thing
exactly.
versus giving him like a role of a different character. And it's just kind of weird because Nintendo has been very like, oh, what happened in the 80s? We're not going to let that same shit ever fly. We want to be sure that we're careful and never make movies. But then they are. And one of the choices they had to pick was between just like, it was two things. You had the argument between why not have actual voice actors do it versus just randomly getting A-listers for especially something that's very beloved and people just not liking Chris Pratt because of him being like very religious
Oh,
and
that's the funny thing. You're the first person I've talked to that mentioned that. I mentioned it in passing before,
yeah,
but like, thank God they're digging that up again. But I was like, everyone just forgot about that. That was a big thing that happened. Like, and not only is he religious, I mean, you can be religious, but he's that kind of religious. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
the, the the church he's like a part of is very controversial. I forget what the fuck which one it is, but yeah, it's one of those churches. So,
It is a shame though because like there were a lot of people that really liked when he was Star Lord, liked when he was Andy, liked when just even the Jurassic Park things. Like there was a point in time where he was just so hot, that like everybody could just stand for anything, and it's just kind of like it was just really weird because a lot of people saw him in Parks and Rec and they felt that attachment to his himbo persona there, and then just as like he like worked out and then it was just going up and up. But when people learned of his religious background, as much as it's a situation where like grifters will be like, this is why cancel culture sucks, and it's just kind of like, no bro, like bruh, like for someone to be like transphobic and also
Yeah.
homophobic, that's very much not things that we just go off and say like, oh no, we totally allow this. It's like, no, just it hurt a lot of people in those communities, especially because they had grown attached to just him. Like it wasn't something they necessarily saw coming. So uh more than enough people were just having to be like, nah, just drop him.
It,
Why do we even care?
what's weird about like the Mario casting specifically, honestly, I could live with it if they went just A-listers, or maybe if they didn't tell us that Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, by the way, if they didn't tell us he was gonna be in it too. But why
Oh,
say
why
he's
is he
gonna be
not
in it?
Mario?
Yeah,
Like,
who is he gonna play?
Well,
Mario's dad?
I mean, there's have they announced Wario, Waluigi, Baby Mario, Baby Waluigi? He voices a whole lot of characters in the series.
But that's the thing. It's
yeah,
like, then why
that's
doesn't he voice Mario? I don't know. Mario has the iconic voice. Peach, fun fact, I think they've changed Peach's. I keep saying Peace. They changed
peace.
Peach's voice like 3 or 4 times, and she very famously was voiced by just like a Nintendo employee for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
But Mario always had like this person. I mean, obviously we can go further back to whoever the fuck voiced him in the cartoon. That's another story. And like Lou Albano before that. But we're not talking about that. In the games, it's been Charles Martinet since like fucking 1994 or some bullshit like that. So it's like,
Yeah.
why now? By the way, we didn't do the what are we watching today, but I've been rewatching Fear Street. This is my random pet peeve rant that I want to say, but this has been stuck in my head for a couple streams. I want to say it now. I watched Fear Street in 1994 to do notes about like a future DTL where I want to compare Fear Street the books to Fear Street the show or movies or fuck you want to call them. In the first movie, which feels like a 90s version of Stranger Things, like it's very 90s nostalgia. There's a scene where the one of the characters is listening to More Human Than Human by White Zombie, which is one of my favorite songs. It has an opening bit of it where like you hear some chick just moaning. I love that song. But anyways, that song was released in 1995. I never thought that I would have that kind of moment watching a show, but it fucking took me out of it so fast. Anyways,
Maybe the kid had an underground demo.
yeah, that's what. Fun fact. I told my roommate that, and that's what like. Well, supposedly they recorded the album in '94, and they're all like, she was like, because she looked it up to prove, like she was. I'm like, no, that album came in '95. I know when that album came out, and she looked it up. She's like, maybe it was a single. No, there was a single, but it was '95. But they're like, they recorded it in '94. I'm like, yeah, that fucking kid's a friend with Rob Zombie and got the unreleased demo. Now he's listening to it.
You're thinking about it too much, Manuel.
Anyway.
The MST3K mantra.
Anyway, yeah, Charles Martinet should have voiced Mario. Chris Pratt sucks. Honestly, I don't care that he's doing Garfield. I don't think he could be a good Garfield though. Like I wasn't a huge fan of Bill Murray, but he was an alright Garfield. But like, do we need Garfield though? I don't think we need a Garfield movie. Garfield's that weird franchise that people who like it love it, but I don't really know many people who like it. I mean, we have your Sylvias and your like Pleiades to name some people within the A to J circle, but I don't think they even like the Garfield movies. So yeah, it's like, who is this for? Kids, I guess, but still.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else is here on this thing? We could go through. By the way, JD, you put that Tencent has a 7% stake in Kadokawa.
Yes, and I saw you correct me.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point that out there because I did see this as news on Anime News Network too a couple days ago. And nobody commented this, but I wanted to, but I just didn't do it because I don't want to seem like I'm like cheering for Tencent. But if every time Tencent buys less than 10%, pun intended, less than 10%, 10% ish stake in a company, we'd be here all fucking day. Because I think there's even a Wikipedia page that like links off like from the main page that shows all the companies they have a stake in. It's everything. I think they have like a something percent stake like an Apple. And I think fun fact, in case you don't know, that Tencent, people, because they don't have to disclose like all like if it's like not quite, they have like a controlling share in Discord. So if you ever like if you ever feel like China might be listening to your calls or whatever like that on your phone or whatever, then if you use Discord, you're fucked anyway. So good luck. I just want to scare everyone like that. And they also own fucking Epic. Epic? No, they own a piece of Epic.
Yeah, they own a
right?
piece of Epic. Yeah.
They own a piece of Epic, so they have a piece of the Epic Game Store.
Sure.
And that's why this is actually real. That's why you see a lot of Epic and Discord connectivity and whatchamacallit. I know what you call it.
Yeah, you have no idea how much xenophobia I had to like put up with and like try and counter after they made that stake. It's just like, okay, look, I get it. You don't like the Chinese government, but just attacking everything Tencent owns is not really helping your case.
Oh yeah, and Tencent has a full stake in entirely in Riot. So you ever play Fortnite?
League of Legends.
Fortnite. Yeah, or League of Legends. You're supporting them. Just want to throw that out there. But then again, it's not that big of a. I mean, I don't think it's big of a deal. But some people are like. But then again, if you play Genshin, MiHoYo is just like fucking another of the. There's three big ones, Tencent being the biggest, but MiHoYo is another one. So yeah, you're just throwing your hat into the other. Like you're supporting Activision, not EA, or it might be Switch now today. I don't know, but yeah, the Chinese versions though. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyways,
Dune Part 2.
Oh, Dune Part 2. Did you like Dune, Josh? I saw you saw it, right?
Haven't seen Dune. Heard
thought
plenty
you
of the spoilers from Dune so far. I've been having people telling me go watch Dune, but I was gonna watch it with Diana and just see if it's like closer to the date when I go visit her and stuff like that. And if not, then it's on HBO Max. So I just
Yeah.
kind of feel like I can catch it. It's okay. I haven't read the book or anything, so I'm cool with waiting. Nor have I seen that original series that apparently was like on television way back or something like that.
I like the series is probably my favorite adaptation, period. Even compared to the new movie, by the way. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect by any means, but it's still my favorite. And I actually I think the movie and the older movie and this movie are very similar in terms of how accurate. Well, this movie changed a lot. I'm not gonna get into all that, but Dune apparently is doing pretty well, and it's getting a sequel, which is fucking annoying because it's just Dune Part 2, so they're just doing the other half of the book. Which is stupid because like if you read the Dune novel, you'll notice it, but I think you can notice it in the movie. That's not a story that has a rise and fall in the middle. So like, yeah, it's one story.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I watched it, and yeah, it definitely felt like the most half a movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. But the weird thing is, and I'll say this again, and the weird part is they went in knowing this was going to be a thing. Like they didn't film part 1 and 2 back to back, which every other two-parter movie I think is always done. They filmed part 1. This is pre-pandemic, by the way. They filmed part 1, wrapped, and we're like, if this does well, we'll film the other half. And then the pandemic happened and got delayed a year plus. So like, not that this matters too much because it's only 2-3 years, but now everyone's 2-3 years older. Like it's just so weird. It's like, I mean, mind you, I guess that works because the spoiler alert, the book does have a bit of a time jump in the middle, so I guess that could work. But still, it's weird. And this talk of a Dune Messiah thing, which is the sequel, which he better not split that into two because that's a very short. That's like a short story almost. If you've never read that one, that's just like about an assassination plot. It's a novella, literally.
Yeah, I believe the plan is to make it a Dune trilogy, so it'd just be Dune's Part 1 and 2, and then Messiah.
Well, I hope they stop there because I think Children of Dune is very unfilmable. But yeah, Children of Dune. If you think Dune 1 was hard to make as one movie, Children of Dune is impossible. But also shit gets weird there. Plot wise, that's where like Anyways. I'm excited though, mildly. I'll eat sand on a different stream just so JD, because I said they do that, remember? I'll eat sand if they greenlight the sequel, and they did. We're gonna watch it. You never mentioned it. We're gonna watch Dune. We make a hat. Oh, we make a hat out of sand. We should do that. We can make sugar sand, which is the thing, by the way. The problem with finding an edible hat was that like I have to get it off a site, and then like I should have just did it and it would have been here by now. But at the time, I was like, it's not gonna get here in time for the anniversary. But anyways, well, I think that's all the shit we were gonna talk about. There's a Fruits Basket prequel. Japanese government's ending restrictions. Is
Hopefully
that
that
it?
goes well for like the umpteenth time.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's written here as our notes, but I'm like, they keep doing it.
It's kind of like, bruh, like, do you see your problem? Like, maybe don't let up on restrictions too soon again, and then go back on lockdown again.
But anyways, we'll wrap up there. Hopefully everyone's staying safe and like had a safe Halloween and everything like that. And what's some shit that I'm gonna mention tomorrow? We're playing Outlast 2 again with myself,
Nice.
Warren, and Snacks. We might finish it. I didn't cheat and look exactly, but I did look up a walkthrough last time because we kept getting stuck, and we are pretty close to the end. I feel like if we split up tomorrow's episode, we're gonna have a short one on the next week, but we might do that anyway. We'll see. Um, and then Friday we're playing Dungeons and Dragons again, but this time we're going back to Pleiades' campaign, which we started the very first episode and haven't done for like 3 months. So that'll be fun. We've probably all forgotten shit. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, support us on Patreon. Shout out to Ed, our current patron, and you could get all sorts of exclusive videos. My writings will be up there soon. I've already written a couple. Honestly, there's a lot of posts scheduled to go up. So there's writing to me. There's exclusive game streams. Like I'm playing a lot. I'm playing through the Mario games. So far it's myself, but there will be guests coming in some of the future episodes. And we're recording little segments after some of our streams to like have a special video at the end of the month, and then other shit like that. And there's archival shit. I forgot about that. Anyways, that's that.
Looks
Thank
like
you.
shout out to the Patreons.
Yep. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, this Josh, for for showing up tonight. We didn't mention it at all, but Nyaru kind of ghosted us this episode. So like next time when I say like thank you Nyaru for not canceling last minute, I can now say thank you Nyaru for just not telling us you weren't gonna answer us when we asked you if you were gonna be here today.
Sorry, not sorry.
I mean, it's whatever. Nyaru is Nyaru. Nyaru is going to Nyaru. Let's leave it like that. But yeah, so tune in next week. Nyaru should be back, and then next week we'll be talking about what are we talking about next week? What is it? Guilty pleasure anime. I remembered on my own. Tune into that. That's next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Nice.
Pacific. And that's it.
Guilty pleasure. Woo.
Mainly, I'm not gonna lie. For me, I'm just because of the chase. It's gonna be a ton of fucking harems, and honestly, I might not talk about hentai, but it's been a ton of harem anime is my guilty pleasure, basically. Anyways, go everyone go join a Squid Game.
No, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do that. Good night, everybody.
Doesn't matter how much money you get.